Now, for those of you that have never been here before, it may surprise you to learn that a few years ago we actually closed this observatory because the water was lapping on the bottom of the glass in front of you. And that will give you an idea of the water levels, how they go up and down on the reserve when there's extreme flood pressure. And it's water relieved from the Ouse River. It is quite common for us as swan feeders to feed in waders, and do bear in mind the feeding takes place directly in front of you on this ledge here. So that means the water's going to be up to our waist. I have fed the swans a number of occasions with the water on my shoulders wearing a dry suit. So we do get very, very extreme levels of water. But it serves its purpose. It's an incredibly good flood relief play. In the summer, if we were sitting here in the reserve now, you would see very little water indeed. And what you would see would be 600 to 800 head of cattle. The cattle are grazing cattle. They keep the sward down to a fantastic level for our visiting birds. They dig up holes everywhere. Nesting sites are created as a result of it. And also, obviously, they poo everywhere, which is brilliant for the land. But we tend to take them off at this time of year because, obviously, they're not particularly good at the breaststroke or the crawl. And as you gather, the water levels will increase as we progress. So the message from that last little bit about the cattle and the difference looking out into the front of the observatory is that if you do come here, come 3 or 4 times a year and spread your visits out every, say, 4 months. Because I can guarantee you'll see a very different feature in front of you, different birds, wading birds more so. So we're a constantly changing view for those of you that like to come to Welney. Behind me, the other side of the main observatory, we have 2 areas of land called Lady Fen and Bank Farm, which we are sculpturing ourselves, and they are particularly useful for wading birds when they come in the summer months. One final point about the land. We are in control of the water levels behind us. We have no control of the water levels in front of us. In terms of when the Environment Agency opened the sluice gates at Erith, in it comes. This can be disastrous. A couple of years ago, I think we lost 60 lapwing nests when the water came in. So that's a little bit about the land. Now let's talk about the birds. And Richard will now disappear. He's going to go to the right of the observatory, and he will come in on the right-hand side, pushing the wheelbarrow along in front of you. And before any of you think that we are feeding the birds and they rely on this food, it is their after eights. They're eating throughout the day. This is just a little bit of nice little delicacy for them. And one of the reasons that they come to the fens is there's lots of food around. Right, there is an order of things, as you will see. The bigger, the bolder get the first in the queue. And the biggest and the boldest are the mute swans. They are the ones with orange bills, and if you look carefully, they've got a black lump on the top of their bill, and that is called a caruncle. And the male mute swans have a larger caruncle than the females. They are UK residents, they are the largest of the 3 white UK swans, and they are renowned for being somewhat aggressive. But they are their own worst enemy. They are the only swan that performs a very rare display or aggression posture, which is called busking. And when I first heard this 5 years ago, this image of a mute swan with a banjo around his neck rather surprised me. But actually, when they busk, and if you just quickly avert your eyes and look at me, they put their wings like this in a N shape, and at the same time, using both their web feet, they jerk as they come towards you. That's an aggressive pose, it's called busking, and if a swan does that and he's coming towards you, suggestion is get out of the way, correct. Now, why did they do that? They are very territorial, particularly when they're young, and I think I would ask the question, are the rowers on the cam the first people there? or are the swans? And I'll leave you with that thought, because I've got my own views about it. Sadly, we do have swans in this part of the world, which are known as the Asbo swans. So they are the largest, the ones that you can see in front of you. They will probably have bred on this reserve. They have a territory of 5 to 10 kilometres, and they are with us throughout the year. They are all the property of the reigning monarch of the day. So currently, Her Majesty the Queen